Hi, I'm Leonardo Benuzzi, and I teach creativity and innovation in the short-term program at IBS Americas at cuoa Business School. Our agenda today is who am I? I'm going to introduce my experience and why am I here. The context of innovation. So I'm going to give a general overview of what is innovation, what is creativity, and then we're gonna deep down into artificial intelligence. Are you scared of artificial intelligence? What is actually artificial intelligence? Where and how it is used today? Legal and ethical point of view. And probably the most important question of them all. How do I stay relevant in a world that is changing so fast? Who am I? I've been scouting and coordination at the MIT Design Lab for a few years. I did that, I would say, for 8-10 years. It's a long time in MIT years. I was not a researcher. I was the middleman between companies that came to the lab with problems and researchers. Actually, my boss used to call me Mr. Wolf, between the customer and the researchers. Mr. Wolf is a person that in a movie from Tarantino solve a problem. So I was the project manager slash problem solver of the teams that were developing innovation at the lab. My point of view is that I'm usually not a teacher. I've got experience in consultancy. I founded 3 startups. Right now, my field of innovation and of consultancy is future-proofing. So basically helping the companies to develop concept of product or services in order to stay relevant in a world that is changing so fast. And my role now as innovation manager in Sartori Ambiente, which is a company that provides top of the market result for cities that want to do to implement recycling action into their infrastructure. So I help them innovate and propose to the market the solution that will help them get to the best KPI possible. You can see here with part of my team, I helped to develop this transportable modular house with a lot of interaction between the inhabitants and the house itself. I helped develop this project that was related to the safety of the refinery worker for a huge refinery company. I helped a train company revolutionize their approach to selling the tickets. This is one of the company I helped found that was deemed by Wired Italy one of the best fab lab in Italy. So this is part of my background, and this is the company for which I work now, Sartori Ambiente, that is strongly connected to, as I call them, being part of the solution, not being part of the problem, in the environment arena, of course. The context of innovation. The first question and the first issue that I want to address is the difference between creativity and innovation. For me, creativity is like this fork, something that is new and it has not yet proven its value. Value in terms of economical value, environmental value, social value. That is an aspect that I don't focus now. The idea that creativity is just something new, but innovation is the same fork that now becomes a bracelet and is useful for someone. So basically, the main difference is that innovation has some intrinsic value for someone. Who can be creative? Usually, people think that either you are born creative or you aren't. But, and that is true, you can have an, let's say, a predisposition to be creative, but I found that everyone can be creative with the right approaches, experience and knowledge, creative techniques, and the dictionary of the present. We are going to go through those. The approaches. Having a multicultural approach means working in a team that has people that come from different backgrounds. Hands-on approach means that when you are developing something new, you have to keep moving from the theory. So you are building something new, you think that that is the reality, and the reality. So to move as fast as possible from the desk to the outside world and back, in order to find as soon as possible all the issues with your ideas. And antidisciplinarity, which is the idea that inside your team you will have people with different backgrounds at the same time. Not people that have different backgrounds, not only that, but people that inside themselves have different approaches. So an engineer that also is a singer. So people that are able to combine different worlds within themselves. These approaches allows team to be much more visionary in their work. So the approaches, experience and knowledge. How do I get them? You go and get them. There is no easy way. You travel a lot, you see a lot of different places, you deep dive into the culture, and you study a lot. What kind of topic? It doesn't really matter as long as you try to go as deep as possible in as many fields as possible. Experience and knowledge are crucial because most of the time innovation means stealing from someone else in some other places, in some other fields, a good idea and apply it to your field, to your country. There are a few geniuses and a lot of people that steal good ideas, and it makes sense to know a lot in order to be able to have a huge variety of sources from which you can be inspired. You know, in innovation, stealing and being inspired are synonymous. Creative techniques. This is something that usually we teach during my course in creativity and innovation. It takes quite a long time to master them. There are a lot of creative techniques that allow people to produce between 10 and 20 ideas per person per hour. And these allow to start the funnel of innovation with a lot of ideas. The funnel innovation is this concept. You start the first phase of creativity with a lot of ideas, and along the journey from the idea to the actual reality, you lose a lot of them. How many? Usually our statistics talk about 1-3% of the idea that you conceive at the beginning will see the light of reality at the end of the funnel. That's why the methodology allows you to have a lot of ideas at the beginning so you can be ruthless in killing them along the way in order to get to the 1-3% that really matters. Then, the last element of creativity is the dictionary of the present. Imagine that you are a cook, that you want to improve or imagine a new dish. If you are aware of more ingredients, it's more probable that you can come up with something innovative. And the dictionary of the present is a list of words that are important nowadays and that it makes sense for an innovator to know. Artificial intelligence is one of them, and in this context, I will be gladly explain in a few minutes what it is, but keep in mind that there are a lot of words. I don't know, GS1 digital link. The future, it's basically the future of the barcode. Concept like lock-in vendor and open source. Open banking through API. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's crucial that you start to dive deep into these topics and words in order to have the ingredients that will allow you to cook innovation in the best way. So, in this context, what is artificial intelligence? First of all, are you scared of artificial intelligence? Because this is what the media is giving us. Oh my God, artificial intelligence is coming for our job. Has the potential to be destructive to journalism? Yes, to a lot of different fields. The dramatic influence of general AI on the space industry. Basically, every single industry is scared right now. Google AI pitch is the recipe for email hell. Every single field. Education. Article like this one, in which the godfather of AI leaves Google and he's scared. So, when the father of someone is scared, you start to be scared as well, right? Could AI disrupt economies or transform them? So, we are fed with a lot of information of what is going to happen. We don't really know what is going on. Another interesting part is that the speed and the performance in which they are improving. So if we have the baseline, which is here, of the human performance, you see the speed at which artificial intelligence models are getting better and better, and how fast the new model are learning. It's basically a vertical line here. Usually it took time. This is the time, of course. But nowadays, the new model, look at this, is going up straight. But what is artificial intelligence? I'm going to explain it using the methodology that in the past I would have used to answer the question. So from around 100 BC till 1994 DC, I would have used probably an encyclopedia, right? Either talking, in the very past, talk with someone, because books were, of course, scarce, but an encyclopedia would have told me that artificial intelligence is the ability of a digital computer or computer-controlled robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. So this is the standard question till 1994. And then Google came, the Google era, 1998. This is the first iteration of Google. And actually, this was the first setup. You Google, because of course now we have the verb to Google, what is artificial intelligence, and you get some definition, some articles, the theory and development of a computer system able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and translation between languages. Nowadays, we can do the same with, so this is the search with Google. And this is the search with ChatGPT. You see that the answer is longer. Artificial intelligence refers to the development of intelligent machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, decision making, and so on and so forth. We run into the first issue. There are no sources for this information. Or more correctly, the sources are so big that there is no specific source from which we can refer to. So, as we were saying, AI is the ability of a machine to display human-like capabilities, reasoning, learning, planning, creativity. It's very famous lately because it was launched chatgpt in 2012, 30 of October last year. As I was telling you, chatgpt was based on an analysis done on 300 billion words. So basically, what is interesting to know is that artificial intelligence is not really intelligence. AI is a program that is able to estimate the next word, but it does not really understand what it's writing. They can mimic human speech because they can forecast the next right word, but we are not in the presence of intelligence. It's a very smart shortcut that allows people to think they are interacting with intelligence, but it's not intelligence. Actually, the model is trained on billions of words, as I was telling you. There is a website on the Washington Post that analyzes, so if you write down the website, it tells you if the AI was trained on your website. And for example, I use cuoa.it, and a tiny percentage of the model is trained on the website of this institution as well. The model, on the other hand, has issues. Since it's trained on all the web, it has a lot of let's say, bad education. So it was trained also on articles or websites that use profanity, any kind of very dark situation. And in order to solve that and take out from the model violence, hate speech, and also sexual abuse, there was this interesting article about how the model was cleaned using human intervention. So basically, there were these Kenyan workers that were training the model in order to clean the system. Where and how it is used today? Basically, every major technological institution is working on it, and from everything, from AI-generated portraits, this is a website that allows you to write what you want, in this case, portrait of a woman with colorful hair and background resembling a paint spill, based on your picture. So you can have any kind of background or situation only by describing it. So this is a guy who wanted to the First World War soldier, and is always the same person. So it starts with a picture, and then the AI puts him in different scenarios. This is a website stability that allows using the same basically platform, allows different, let's call it plugins or different opportunities. Photoshop plugin, Blender plugin, or in this case, a wide array of different fields in which, using the same model, you can apply the artificial intelligence. In this case, stunning visual in seconds. So, is basically used everywhere. Let's talk about the legal and ethical aspects of this system. Is any of this actually legal? Nowadays, this system is out of the context of the legal environment because most of the legislative body didn't put out any kind of new laws. So we have situations like this one, Deep Nude, that use AI to undress pictures of women that you upload on the system. You have Steve Wozniak, one of the co-founders of Apple, that says AI is killing people, just mount on a Tesla, because the AI system on a Tesla is not safe. Moreover, it's not only legal but ethical to train an artificial intelligence on a huge corpus of copyrighted creative work without permission of or attribution. In the copyright legislative body in all over the world, which is, of course, very big, there is example that I think are significant. If I ask this model, realistic 3D rendering of Mickey Mouse working on a vintage computer doing his taxes, we don't see Mickey Mouse here, because they are trying to protect themselves from copyright infringement. In this case, the model is not so smart, and it puts a real Mickey Mouse. Of course, from an ethical point of view, and in this case, I think also from a legal point of view, we are outside the law. But how about the ethically of allowing people to generate new work in the style of the photographer or illustrator or designer without compensating them? We have example of this. We have AI that win prize. This was a provocation done at the Colorado State Fair, in which the first prize was, in large part, prepared by an artificial intelligence. So, lot of questions, lot of people that are worried. What we are talking now is probably, and this is the main part of my presentation, how do I stay relevant today? How can I be creative in a world that is moving so fast? And actually, this is probably the main topic of my lesson, usually creativity and innovation here at cuoa as well. It's an old story. This is an elevator operator's license, 1931. So 90 years ago, in order to operate an elevator, you had to have a license. The first popular home refrigerator was introduced in 1927. Before, people were sewing ice, transporting it, and there was an entire industry dedicated to that. So it's not new that the innovation is killing the old industry. The only difference is how fast this is going. So what's next for me as a professional in a world that is moving so fast? Let's go back to the basic. Who can be creative? Approaches, experience and knowledge, creative techniques, and dictionary of the present. This is the first solution in order to be creative and innovative, being informed, being up to the news in the technological world, in the social and economical world, being from the side of the books, in this case represented by the books, but from the part of the culture. When you read an article on this, OpenAI API, we are releasing an API for accessing new AI model developed by OpenAI. The important part of this is not the OpenAI new artificial intelligence. The news is that the API is the crucial word there. So if you are worried about artificial intelligence, my suggestion is, are you able to explain what an API is? Because the crucial part is there. As I mentioned before, if you work in a bank and you're worried about artificial intelligence, probably you should be worried about open banking and how open banking is changing the future of the banking system. Because that is happening today. Artificial intelligence is something that is happening tonight, tomorrow. Focus on today, and then you can think about the tomorrow. It's like building a house. Start from the first floor. Elon Musk that says, OpenAI was created as an open source, which is why it's named open, non-profit company to serve as a counterweight to Google. But now it has become a closed source, maximum profit company effectively controlled by Microsoft. Not what I've intended at all. The crucial part is open source versus closed source. If you're worried about artificial intelligence and you don't know exactly what is the difference between the two concepts, closed and open source, that is an issue. Because, for example, the right to repair law is changing how companies are protecting their intellectual property on hardware that they're selling. So if you are a producer of hardware that has a business model of lock-in of some sort, you should pay attention to that word, not to the artificial intelligence. Another article, the EU Artificial Intelligence Act will have global impact but a limited Brussels effect. What is a Brussels effect? How is proven to be effective in the case of the GDPR law? The Brussels effect is the key word here in order to understand the next step. When you get that, then we can talk about artificial intelligence. And this is what I'm looking for. A students that will come to the course with all the knowledge of the words that make up innovation today, so we can use them with the methodology of creativity that we'll teach you in order to further allow you to be the innovator of tomorrow. In the course that we will have here at cuoa, I focus on hands-on approach. I like to interact with students that bring their problem to the table in order to apply the methodology to their problem. So I will leave you with the last thing, a provocation. So I will leave you with the question, who prepared this presentation? There are some links I will leave in the presentation as well. And I'm waiting you here for the course Creativity, Innovation and Entrepreneurship at cuoa Business School. That is prepared in collaboration with IBS. So thank you very much, and looking forward to have an in-person discussion about the topics we just went through. Thank you.